Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Willis Wit and Wisdom. My name is Eric Willis,
And I'm Bob Willis.
and today we want to share a little bit of a personal story with you. We're going to
Mhm.
go back over 50 years ago.
Yeah, I was there. I was there when it happened. In fact, I shared this a couple of weeks ago in my morning moments on Facebook. Was that when you were born, believe it or not, when you were born, you had a cleft lip. When the doctors brought you out and showed this baby to me, and I looked and there was something missing there. There was a big gap in your lip, and I could see inside your mouth. And went into shock. And the doctor says, in 3 months we'll have plastic surgery, rebuild that. You'll never even notice it, and it'll be fine by the time you started school. And so I remember, Eric, I remember Mom and I standing beside the bed, beside that little crib that you were in, and they had, after the surgery, they had tubes coming out of your nose and had your arms in splints straight out so you couldn't reach up and grab it because the
Mm,
natural instinct would do that. And that was hard for us to stand there and watch that because that was a helpless feeling. And that's what Mom and I remember, is that helpless feeling. We couldn't do anything to help. And, that, that helpless feeling is something we recall. Saying that first child, I was 20, she was 19, and I guess I was 21, but we was standing there and just in shock of what was taking place. But that helplessness is what I remember. And now in my grief work, I deal with people who refer to the helplessness that they're in. They can't fix their grief. They were helpless in trying to rescue a person who died, and so many things that bring helplessness into the picture. And I know even though you were present at that 3 month stage, you probably don't remember that. And
mm.
so I'm informing you that was a feeling that we had. And I know through the years you've made some adjustments, some awareness, and be able to use that. So I'm thinking of one in particular I'd like for you to share with the people. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you're right. I don't remember much of what happened in those
Good.
moments, but I can only imagine, and I will share the story here in just a minute. But I can only imagine as you and Mom realize that you've just given birth to an overall healthy baby boy, but
Hmm.
he's missing a piece of his face.
Right.
Um, and the helplessness, there are some other things that come along with helplessness um, as we experience helplessness. There's sometimes questions. What,
Hmm.
why, how, what?
Yep.
All of
Yep.
these questions begin to flood our minds whenever we enter into a helplessness.
Hmm.
So I think what creates more angst in the helplessness that we feel is the fact that we don't have answers to the
Right.
why, the what, the how,
Hmm.
and the immediate next steps of what do I do, what do I say, how do I act, what can I do. We can't
Yep.
always fix it, like you said.
Right. Right.
But the doctors did have a plan in place. It was We had just put a man on the moon, if I remember my history correctly.
You just got it. That's right. 69.
Yeah, and so the thought is, if we can put a man on the moon, why can't we put a lip on a kid? So,
Exactly. Yep.
uh,
With plastic.
yeah, little piece of plastic, and I do
Mhm.
have a little scar that I carry around with me, and I have since that that day.
Mhm.
Um, it's not been a topic of conversation except for those individuals who actually know what that is.
Mhm.
Those who have had either cleft lip or cleft palate, which is the top
Right.
part of the inside of the mouth. Um, and so recently, we were visiting a family in Pennsylvania, some friends that are about to become family, as we welcome another daughter uh, into the Willis family through marriage. Um, but this family has adopted two young girls from China, and both of these young girls, they're early elementary age now, and both of them have cleft lip. One has a pretty severe cleft palate as well, and so
Mhm.
surgery after surgery after surgery, and um, so our family was visiting with them recently and in their home. nighttime came and it was time for the girls to go to bed. So the moms, my wife and their mom, took the girls upstairs, get them ready for bed. And I'm downstairs with the other family members, and I hear, "Hey, Eric, can you come here?" And so um, I start walking up the stairs, and as I make my way up, about halfway up, I'm a tall guy, 6'5", and so I make my way up. They're on the landing on top of the stairs, and so I recognize that as I'm walking up the stairs, I am being stared at, just glared at,
Mhm.
just an intense look at me. And I realize that these two little girls, early elementary age girls, were just told that I had cleft lip and that I
Right.
had surgery. And they were looking intently at my lip. They
Mhm.
wanted to see the scar. And so as I made my way up the stairs, I kind of sat down in the middle of the stairs so that I could be eye level with them. And I invited them to look at my scar, and I told them the story of how I was born with cleft lip and how doctors and nurses took care of me and had surgery, um, and
Mhm.
they lit up. Uh,
Sure.
their eyes just lit up and a smile on their face. And what happened in that moment was they actually saw a foreshadowing of what could be okay one day for them.
Yes. Hmm.
And it was moving and emotional for me as
Hmm.
well,
Yeah.
to infuse a
Yeah.
little bit of hope in their little
Exactly.
faith.
Right.
Uh,
That's the word that comes to my mind was hope for them. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and so two beautiful young little girls. They're coming to that age where their peer network and their peer support and encouragement, and they're building those relationships with other kids is so important. And
Hmm.
yet, a physical limitation like a cleft lip or cleft palate can cause other kids to be cruel and cause
Yeah.
other kids to be mean or standoffish, because they
Right.
don't understand. Um,
Hmm.
and so I was able to look at them and tell them how beautiful they are and how God created them, and that He's not done yet. Uh,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
it was just a special moment that I was able to
Exactly.
share with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we realized too was in our helplessness is when we depend upon the one who is the helper. God's strength and help at that time because it's easy to get caught into that trap of what other people think about us and what they see in us. And the beauty of it is God sees far more than anyone else does.
Mm,
And so that's the one we rely upon. His love for us, his hope for us. God is never helpless.
right,
Never. Yeah.
right. And the limitations that we tend to put on ourselves are just that. Uh,
Mhm.
we can put the limitations on ourselves. We can use excuses not to move forward in our journeys,
Right.
um, because because we feel helpless, because we don't have answers to
Mhm.
how do we fix this type
Yep.
of questions. And so uh, as we move forward in life, we have an opportunity to choose to move forward, um, in spite of what could hinder us.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so,
And you make that application to the grief process. Some people get stuck in it because they don't see anything but that grief. And where there's others that have hope to move past it, in that journey. Not that the grief will go away, but they're moving forward in their grief to honor their loved one and to put value to their life as they honor their loved ones too.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And coming to the realization that I'm never going to have a full mustache. My mustache is never going to look as good as yours.
I'm
But
never going to have
because
a full head of hair either.
right, right, and so I'll compensate and I'll have a better goatee than you, and
Right.
so
Exactly.
it'll work that way.
Call it even. Right. I
Call it even.
understand. No
Yeah.
problem.
But looking at moving forward through a grieving process and losing relationships and um, the helplessness that we feel, um, pull back a little bit and see that it is true that you're not going to be able to change something.
Mhm.
You cannot change what has been done, but
Right.
you can choose to move forward through what has happened.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Exactly. Good truth. That's a good truth to leave with people today is don't give up. Just realize that what we're going through, we can get trapped into helplessness, or we can look forward to the hope that's there and step forward into hope.
Yeah, and it could look, and most likely will look differently than what you expected it to look like.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely, Willie. Yep.
yeah. So, Dad, how can folks send you questions or get a hold of you or follow you?
Right. I do a morning post, an article on Facebook. You can follow Bob Willis on Facebook. I have a morning moment with a thought each morning that talk about life skills, a lot about grief and loss and finding hope in that. So that's the best way to follow me. You can email me at rwillis14@cox.net. Either way, through the Facebook has my email address also. But yep, Facebook's the best way to catch me. How do they catch you, E?
Yeah, they can jump online and go to reclaimleadership.org. And that's the website that I have as a ministry. And I'm also on Facebook. You can find me there, Eric Willis on Facebook. I do a Monday mindset reset where I'll throw a concept out there that I'm chewing on and working through, and just something that's in my thought process. And I just kind of throw it out there for us uh, to think about. It's a Monday mindset reset for
Yep.
that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks, Dad. Love you. It's good to see you.
All right.
And
You
folks,
too.
thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.